Story 1. Let me tell you something, as someone who has hired a lot of staff over many years. Get something to put on your resume. 90% of what we're looking for is that someone is willing to put in effort. If you can show that you've taken free courses and put in your own time to improve yourself and your career, you are far ahead of 90% of the resumes we receive. The other 10% is the skills you bring to the table. Story 2. The Digital Garage by Google. It shows that you have knowledge of how online marketing, such as analytics, Google Ads, email marketing, and so on, works. It's a good introductory certificate, and you can put it up on LinkedIn. Story 3. Hello, everyone coming from AskReddit threads. After years of forgetting about this comment, I've now updated it as of January 12, 2022, with all working links. The original list was compiled from the links from this thread 6 years ago. I would also like to thank Snaggy Crab for fixing some links and adding some more. Medical terminology certification. Boating, Maryland only. Interpreting. Beer judge certification. Structured query language. National Career Readiness Certificate. American Purchasing Society certification. Hazardous Materials Certificate. Get ordained by Universal Life Church. Doctorate of Metaphysics. For other cool stuff, check out this hyperlink. Get ordained by the Church of Latter-day Dude. At the time of updating this list, this link only has a free course for ID checking, like a bar bouncer. Canadian OSHA equivalent and more free courses in this link. Canadian boating courses. Federal Emergency Management Agency training. X-Series courses. Certification courses from various accredited universities. Project Management Professional Certification. Fall Protection Awareness Training. Canada. Google Apps Certification. Multiple certifications and courses from a college, which you can get financial aid for to make some of the courses free. Beer Server. Management and Leadership. Cardiopulmonary Resuscitation Course. Pokemon Professor. Magic the Gathering Judge. Powder Actuated Tool Certification. Google Courses. Dog Psychology, and you can apply for financial aid in order to cover the cost. Psychological First Aid, and they have other clinical training programs here. Scrum Fundamental Certification. Multiple certificates from HubSpot. Health and Safety United Nations Department of Safety and Security. Deputy Heart Attack. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Lab Training. Tulane University's free courses. Columbia University's free courses. National Child Traumatic Stress Network and Continuing Education. Canadian Center for Occupational Health and Safety courses. Colorado School of Health. Technology and Science Cognitive Class. Free Code Camp. Geographic Information System. Online Classrooms Future Learn. Coursera. Stanford. Carnegie Mellon. Open Learn. edX. Open Classrooms. A website to learn how to play guitar. You can become a train conductor by using financial aid to cover the tuition costs at Dakota Technical College, Johnson Community College, and at the Northwest Railroad Institute. Medical Illustrator, which you can go to many colleges for, so financial aid can cover it. You can also become a sonographer. It includes doing ultrasound for women, but it has other applications too. Biohazard cleaning. Being a certified Cisco networking associate. Various tiers of being a welding inspector. International Air Transport Association certification for dangerous packages and transportation. Department of Transportation certification. Learning calligraphy. These aren't all certifications, but some free classes/resources. Education Portal Academy. 101 Science. Aversity. Open Culture free online courses. Course Hero. Open Learning Initiative. Massachusetts Institute of Technology OpenCourseWare. Sailor Academy. Open Learn. Make use of programming languages. Flashcard Machine. Free Rice quizzes you on the basics of a subject of your choosing and donates rice for each answer you get right once you turn off adblock. OpenStax College. Free Science. Free books, all legal of course, novels and open source textbooks. FreeCycle, a site where people give away random things for free. A site to get free wood chips from. A free resume builder. U.S. government website to see if there are assets in your name that you can claim for money. a site to see if there are free or open-sourced alternatives to whatever paid software that you are looking for. Wikimedia, the nonprofit that runs Wikipedia, has other useful websites. Story 4. I had to do it a few years ago for a hospital I worked at. It's a basic little certification that shows you understand the signs of heart attack and also explains why people are reluctant to get help. It doesn't give you a cardiopulmonary resuscitation certification or anything, but the idea is if you catch it early enough, you won't have to do compressions. Good information in it. Neat. I'm at work tonight and unable to respond to everyone, but as other people have said, if someone becomes unresponsive, do compressions. Don't waste your time trying to figure out if they're having a heart attack. To the people who took the little course offered on the website, I really hope you found it valuable. Yes, please do check for a pulse before cracking ribs. I've seen them done on people who weren't actually in cardiac arrest, and they did not enjoy it. Should have included that in the last edit. Story 5. United Nations Department of Safety and Security. Basic and advanced security in the field. Mandatory for all United Nations employees, often a requirement for other non-military institutions involved in humanitarian missions. Even if you do not do activities like that, it provides you with a nice base layer in terms of traveling abroad. Story 6. Psychological First Aid Online. Free, about 6 hours long. Hosted by the National Child Traumatic Stress Network and promoted by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. You learn how to help disaster survivors get referred to the professionals they need and how to triage those with more severe psychological distress before it worsens. Learn the signs and symptoms and know where to forward the survivors to the proper agencies. Additionally, there are guidelines on how to secure relief sites with consideration for physical and mental health. There are also free courses on the website regarding helping children and military families with specific issues, but since I have not taken them yet, I cannot comment on those classes. Yes, the class teaches you how to deal with both children and adults. Due to the nature of the training, psychological first aid can be comfortably taught online because there are no physical demands. I completed this in a day to enhance my resume for a master's program in psychology a while back. It looks very impressive on a resume. I hope this helps. The course is tailored to the United States, but the concepts should be easily applicable anywhere. Anyone may register for a class online and take it at their own pace. If there are any issues, please let me know so I may update this post. Psychological first aid is more designed for a large-scale response. For individual psychological training, consider the Question, Persuade, and Refer Institute, which trains you in suicide prevention techniques in various settings and environments. Psychological first aid for large-scale, Question, Persuade, and Refer for small-scale. Story 7. FEMA Certification. It's long and repetitive, but it looks good to employers so they understand that you have knowledge of a basic command structure and how to handle adverse situations. For anyone looking for the link, the courses are under independent study on the FEMA training website. I'm glad so many of you found this helpful or at least interesting. Thank you for the gold, kind stranger. For those asking about programs like this in other countries, this was the closest lead that I could find on the FEMA training website under the higher education section for other countries. Story 8. Not free but very, very cheap, $50 Google Analytics certification. Edit. Actually, I was wrong. I haven't been certified in a while, and it used to be $50. It's free now. Story 9. On the Environmental Protection Agency website, you can get a certificate for the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System. It will be beneficial for any environmental, energy, chemical, or related field job. Story 10. YouTube offers a certification in audience growth and development. It's a requirement for some job listings, and people are always impressed when you say you're certified. It turns out there are limitations on who is eligible for certification. I was working at a multi-channel network at the time, managing one of the largest channels on the site when I got certified. When applying for other jobs, every one of them mentioned YouTube certified is a plus, or must be YouTube certified. The certification process is a long one and is mostly slideshows, a series of videos and fake scenarios, with a multiple choice quiz after each section. It covers best practices for upload schedules, thumbnails, banners, description layout, tags, Really everything there is about YouTube. At the end, you receive an email with a PDF from Google saying you are officially certified. Story 11. Not free depending on the state you live in, but look into becoming a notary public. You are able to notarize legal documents. I've had a couple of friends ask if I can stop by their offices to notarize documents for people. Super useful to have around. In New York State, it's $15 to take the test, and if you pass with a 70% minimum on multiple choice, it's $60 to get the license. But I've definitely gotten my value for it, and it's good for the entire state. Story 12. Salesforce Trailhead will teach you how to use and operate any part of Salesforce and is completely free. Lots of companies don't understand how to operate their own Salesforce, so this could get you a high-paying job for free. People keep asking what Salesforce is. Salesforce is a way for a company to track everything that is done at a company. For example, when you create an account with Amazon, you create a profile that they put into Salesforce to keep track of who you are. This information can then be used to sell to you, creating a custom experience. Another use could be a bank that has many customers and wants to know which customers are the most loyal, have the most referrals, and other such factors. Story 13. If you are a programmer who uses databases, MongoDB is providing free MongoDB certification at university.mongodb.com/courses. This is a great way to get certified on one of the leading NoSQL databases out there. Story 14. A little late to the post, but project management, Scrum Study, digital marketing, Google Garage, HubSpot Academy, health and safety, United Nations Department for Safety and Security, Deputy Heart Attack, Federal Emergency Management Agency, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Tulane University, Columbia University, National Child Traumatic Stress Network, University of Missouri, Fall Arrest, First Aid Web, Workplace Hazardous Materials Information System, Canadian Center for Occupational Health and Safety, Colorado School of Public Health, Management, Google Educator, Technology and Science, Cognitive Class, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Laboratory, Free Code Camp, Geographic Information System, Online Classrooms, Future Learn, Coursera, Stanford University, Carnegie Mellon University, Udemy, Open Learn, edX, Open Classrooms, National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, Other, Cicerone, Story 15, IBM Watson Analytics 101. It may only be free for students, but it does give you a certification. My professor said this would be good to have on your resumes and will assure you really understand the power of big data analytic tools. Story 16. If you have a public library card, lots of cities partner with Lynda, which you can access for free through your public library's portal. Normally, the subscription is about $800 per year. I don't think there are certifications, but there are tons of courses and learning paths. Story 17. edX and MIT have a ton of free courses online. After the course, you can get a certificate from them by passing a test that costs anywhere from free up to $500, but most are around $50. Back 5 years ago, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology announced badges, where you could take courses and then, if you passed an online test, you would get a badge that said you knew the subject. While I can find a poster for it, I cannot seem to find the Massachusetts Institute of Technology site to use. Story 18. The National Highway Institute has plenty of free courses pertaining to the National Environmental Policy Act, engineering, traffic, transportation planning, and more. There are web-based training solutions and classroom-style options. Many are free while others require payment. For professionals, some of the courses offer continuing education credits. To the general public, it would benefit you to know some of this information, especially eminent domain, right-of-way acquisition, and the Relocation Uniform Act. Story 19. Not sure if it's still available for free, but you could get a World Intellectual Property Organization certificate if you're interested in patents and trademarks. The exam was easy, but it was a lot of work and reading, so only do this if you want to be a patent clerk or something like that. But hey, if it was good enough for Einstein, then why not? Story 20. Personally, I'm a fan of the online American Sign Language course. No matter what your job is, or the odds of running into someone who is hard of hearing, it's effectively learning a new language and being able to communicate with a good portion of the population. It is especially good for any service industry, public sector, or communications job. One thing to keep in mind is that just knowing American Sign Language doesn't mean that you know the culture. The deaf and hard of hearing community is very deep and diverse. If you are interested in learning more than the basics to assist, I highly recommend learning about the culture a bit. Story 21. Being a notary public is fairly inexpensive, and you can study and take the course online. It's about as hard as an average driver's test. You just have to go to a courthouse to pay, take an oath, and sign the book. Then you also pay for your stamp. In total, at least in my experience, you're hardly out $50. Almost every business needs a notary, so it's really handy to have, and you can practice anywhere in the state where you are certified. Story 22. National Incident Management System, Incident Command System. They are online courses available through the Federal Emergency Management Agency that teach you how to operate during an incident. Very useful for police, fire, and emergency medical services jobs because you use the skills on every call.